Can I ask, why is that piece called Slipping?
Slipping, you have to ask DMX that. We just stayed with the original title of the song, really. Yeah.
And what does it mean to you, that piece?
What does it mean? Wow, what does it mean? Man, I started listening to hip-hop when it started, and I could probably say 1,000 songs, but that's got to be in my top 10, easy, as a song. The juxtaposition of the way he spits and he rhymes against the melody. I remember the first time I heard that, I just stopped, like, oh my gosh, what is this song? Oh. And it just stayed with me for a while, and then we decided to do a duet in 2008, 2009. But it just means everything. It just means everything. Hip hop is just, for me, is just everything in terms of the right hip hop, that is. The right way of using it, the sample against the beat with the rhyme, the rap. But that's just pucker track.
And for anyone, for other people I know there are a lot of people in the audience who they know their hip hop, but for people like me who are not expert, who might struggle to know the difference between, well, maybe locking, popping, juking, turfing, light feet, etc. What context would you put
what the movement
that in? Yes.
You know, there's the technical stuff, as you said, the popping, the locking. But for me, that is just the rawness, the 20 years of technique that we've built up, and the language. But it's more about connecting with the track. A lot of people say, oh, what's this? And try and compartmentalize stuff. It's just what it is. It's just how we feel as a team, what we're trying to say. We work on emphasis in that track. Our technique is emphasis because he's so emphatic, but he's so emphatic all the way through. When do we want to emphasize a piece of movement? Or when do we want to be subliminal, where you hear the word and then a bit later on you see the movement? Or you see the movement and then later on you hear the word. Just playing around people's minds. So you're seeing and hearing and feeling, but it's not linear.
Okay. Listen, we're going to talk about your venture into the commercial world shortly. But before that, look, anyone who sees you now and sees your success and knows some of the things you've done, that may look very inevitable. But actually, I know from talking to you that actually things weren't always easy, and you faced some particular challenges. And I know we'll only have time to touch on maybe a couple of them, but let's get straight to the point. Something quite sensitive. Not long after we met, about 10 years ago, something bad and unexpected happened to you. Something that you've referred to just as the attack. Tell us about the attack. What happened? When?
Yeah. So I mean, it's that whole thing again of the highs and the lows. So Youth Dance England, who I have a lot of respect for, they had the first National Youth Dance Festival, which is now known as U-Dance. And the way it kind of works is it's kind of in regions. And we were pushed forward. And when I say we, Impact Youth Dance Company was put forward. We had I call it the award-winning youth company. It was just amazing. We had people like Annalise Days, who went on to do Tyra Banks' Next Top Model, people like Simon Shock, who in Flawless is now singing. We had just an amazing youth company. It was so strong. So we put ourselves forward for London, and we were in direct competition with another institute in London, but you know, Chatham House Rule and all that. But we got picked. It's like, we got picked to represent London at the National Youth Dance Festival. So we went up to Birmingham. It was at Birmingham Hippodrome. Now, on the day of the show, we had a bomb scare, and we had to evacuate. It's just so random. So we evacuated the building, and we had to walk to our accommodation. And we had to walk through quite a rough area of Birmingham. And unfortunately, on the way there, we were walking along, we had the youth company, 15, 20 of them. This car pulls up, and I'm like, oh man, no, not today. And there's these 3 youths in the car, and they're calling the kids, whatever. So obviously I'm the leader, I had to try and get in the middle of them. So I got in the middle of them, we got the youth company running, but these 3 kids, they surrounded me. Kids, I can't even remember. They surrounded me. And I kind of braced myself, like, for the attack, but they surrounded me, and out of nowhere, I took a blow to my right eye, and I literally was just staggering, just didn't know where I was. I fell to the ground, and to cut a long story short, next I was in an ambulance. Then it was overnight. And then I worked next morning. I just had this big patch. And I still remember sitting on the floor. It was a sunny day, Sunday morning or whatever day it was. And I was sitting on the floor with Vicky Ogbokwe of Uchenna. She was the youth artistic director there. She was just sitting there crying in the corner. And I was just had my back against the wall with this big patch on my eye. And I was going to her, don't worry, sis, it's going to be all right. Don't worry, sis, it's going to be all right. And this time I was like, I don't know if I'm going to even see out this eye again. People telling me, don't worry, you'll be fine. As it cleared up, I had this brown kind of stuff in my eye. I just couldn't see past this brown thing. It was like, move out the way. Come on, get out the way. But it didn't go. But it faded. And then I got the diagnosis. And they basically said, your central vision is damaged permanently. But you have your peripheral vision. So I have peripheral vision. So fortunately, I can still drive. I can still work in the space. Because if I didn't have my peripheral vision, I wouldn't even be able to choreograph. But I use my left eye to focus on most things. And what's happened is my right eye has become lazy. So I now have this challenge of when I look at someone direct, it looks like I'm looking off to the right, which is really uncomfortable because people think I'm blanking you or I'm talking to you. And then kids in class, you know what kids are like? Sir, you're not looking at me. And you're like, okay. You start doing all this dancing to try and live.
So you've been left with very uncomfortable experience. You've been left with a physical legacy.
Yep.
How else has it changed things?
It's changed things in terms of just going to see work. When I go, obviously, as a choreographer, as a maker, you want to go and see work. And in low light intensities, I really struggle sometimes. I don't see things. I can't gauge the depth as well as I'd like to. I can see, but not as well as I'd like to. There's obviously, I'm all about eye contact and people leading from the chest and stuff, and I find myself looking down because I don't want someone to get that impression that I'm not looking at you and I'm ignoring you, but I am looking at you. Right. And at first, when I went into the space to work, I do you know what? There wasn't much anger there with the attackers. It subsided real quick because I just was on this mission just to help young people and just wanting people just to do what they needed to do. And it was tough, you know, it was tough. Okay. But that's how it is.
Let's talk about something happier.
Let's do that.
Out of the blue, you got a chance to work with one of the most major British bands, the Pet Shop Boys.
Yep,
Tell us about how that happened.
Yeah, I did. Are they
and
here?
When it happened?
Are they here?
Oh, yes, there's a...
One of them is here. Give it up, give it up.
Listen, that is the kind of opportunity that most people would absolutely die for. When that happened, however it happened, did you think that was it? You'd gone to heaven?
No. You know what? No, it came out of the blue. It's going to be really interesting because Neil's here. He's going to hear the other side of it. It was the most amazing opportunity. But it came out of the blue, and I will hold my hand up. I don't think I was ready. But what it was is sometimes people grab you and just drag you through things. And that person that grabbed me and dragged me was an award-winning designer, amazing woman called Ez Devlin. She's the one that found me. She's the one that sat me down. She said, this is what you got to do. And there were times where, because of what I was going through mentally in other things, I had to get back on the short and narrow. Also, my rehearsal director, Emma, helped a lot. But it was an amazing experience, but it was a tough experience as well. But, you know, funnily enough, the other day, I sat down and I watched the tour, the Cubism tour, and I was just smiling. I was just like this. It was just really, because I thought, you know, coming into the show, I need to relive certain periods of my life. And I was just like, wow, I did that. But it's funny, it's like a blur. It's just like, how did I get there? But it was just the most amazing tour, just with the most amazing artists, the music, the set. It was just crazy. But I'm like thinking to myself, how did I get here? You know, that whole thing of like, if presented with an opportunity like that now, I'd probably go in a different direction. I'd attack it in a different way. I've got more resources to pull on. But I'm just thankful that they trusted me to do a major tour, like 19 songs. It's like, here's the song list. It's like, oh, right. Hey. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I love you're very self-effacing. You said you weren't quite ready for it, but I'm sure you proved that you were. What we're ready for now is the next piece of dance. So thank you, Hakeem.